Yep, I think that's it. But yeah, that was something, wasn't it? Like at first, I did knew that this trailer was going to be heavily influenced by Superman Woman of Tomorrow's comic book. And I read that comic book, but I was like, hey, maybe it's like inspired but in name only. But when I saw this girl over here, at first I didn't even recognize her because obviously she looks like a human being, and when I read the comic book she looks very let's just say stylized. So looking at the girl didn't immediately strike me as, oh, this is that character from the comic book. But when I realized it, I was like, holy, like they're going full in, like they're getting locked into this comic book which I read, and it is amazing. Like it's gonna be amazing, guys. Like Supergirl is going to be traveling to different planets, and it's not what you think it's going to be. It's a very somber story. I don't know if James Gunn and somber mix well together. I'm kind of afraid of that. Like even just the vibe of this whole trailer is very loud and whatever. But when you read the comic book, Supergirl, I don't know, like other people might have different interpretation of the comic book, but Supergirl in that comic book doesn't feel like she's the main character. Like this girl is the girl we see. Like I can't find her again. Maybe we can if we try hard enough. Okay, so I spent a second to find her. So this girl had her, I don't remember, but her father was offed by a random alien mercenary, and she's on a revenge quest, and she speaks very formally as well, which made her a very funny character in my head. I don't know if they'll keep that. Let me just hear her talk some more. I guess we don't get to hear her talk anymore, but yeah, the way she spoke was a bit funny because she's an alien, she's from a different planet, she has different linguistic whatever phrases, but yeah, again, this whole comic book spans over a Supergirl and this girl just hanging out, going to different planets, trying to track down that mercenary, and it's just visually a very, very beautiful comic book. And I suggest, like, this movie is still, I think, a good 6-7 months away. So if you haven't read the comic book, I highly recommend that you guys read it, because wow, you guys are going to be amazed. Like just the art style itself it's one of the most beautifully illustrated comic books I've ever seen. Yeah, you guys have got like what, 6 months? You can finish this thing. Like I'm so glad I read the comic book. I'm not a big comic book reader. I haven't read a lot of comic books, but I'm so glad I read this thing. But just looking at the visual language of this movie, obviously it's going to be very different from the comic book, because it's just reading the comic book reminded me a lot about Alphonse Mucha. It's very stylized, so obviously this is realistic live action adaptation of the comic book, so I don't know how well they're going to be able to adapt it, but they could try to do that at least. But like reading the comic book, all I remember is like really beautiful landscapes, but we haven't really seen at any of the beautiful landscapes like grass fields or anything like that. I mean, this looks very desert-ish thing, but yeah, again, if there is one thing you can take away from this reaction, is go read that comic book. You won't be sorry. It's one of the really good comics I've ever read. And without taking too much of your time, I'm going to stop yapping now and just ask you, what do you think about this thing so far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, it's time for a goodbye.